I use cloth or tiro because if I use them, the tiro it's wet and enter into my inside and give me another effect. And the cloth too small times, then it's wet. Then if I sit, then I'll be seeing some blood at my back.
Menstruation is a natural biological process that affects half of the world's population. But despite its universality, menstrual hygiene is still a taboo subject in many parts of the world. We will explore the menstrual hygiene, its impact on women and girls, and the challenges they face in managing their periods.
I don't attend school on my menstrual pain time because I'm in lack of pad and I don't have pad, so I don't want my black to be wet in front of my female colleagues, so I don't come to school. Cloth or tiro because if I use them, the tiro it's wet and enter into my inside and give me another effect. And the cloth too small times, then it's wet. Then if I sit, then I'll be seeing some blood at my back. They'll be laughing at us. They'll say we are having a period, so they will not sit with us. Our blood is smelling. They will not sit with us. We are pregnant, so they will not come close to us. I feel ashamed of myself being in my menstrual pain with boys laughing at me. So if I'm having it another time, don't come to school. I feel bad in my academic studying because things that they have learned, I haven't learned them. The teacher will not read, taught me what they have learned, and I feel bad in my academic during that period.
My name is Isaac Nyampong. I'm the programs manager with Alliance for Reproductive Health Rights. So Alliance, as the name suggests, is a membership-based organization, and we are an advocacy group for women, children, and adolescents. And we work with young people, and one of the issues that a lot of young people face is the issue of menstrual health or menstrual hygiene. And you realize that a lot of girls do not have access to menstrual products when they are in their periods, and it affects them in so many ways. First of all, a lot of the girls miss out of school or drop out completely because of their periods. Because one, they don't have access to the menstrual products like the pads. Either they are so expensive and they cannot afford to buy, or the products that they use are of inferior quality that sometimes give them a lot of infections, so they prefer to stay at home. Secondly, the facilities at the schools do not support menstrual hygiene. So, for example, water to wash their hands and even sanitary facilities are not available. So the girls are not comfortable going to school when they are in their periods. Thirdly, the boys are also not so well informed about menstrual hygiene because of the issues of taboos and those things. So when the girls are in their menses and they soil themselves, some of the boys laugh at them, so they prefer to stay home or drop out of school. So these are some of the issues that affect the girls. For women as well, it usually starts from adolescents, but the issues affect adolescents differently from women. And for young people, like I mentioned, it's the issue of cost. So for women, a lot of the women who can afford it can buy, but for most people too, they cannot afford. So they use insanitary products. But the main issue has to do with the environment that you find yourself, supporting your ability to keep yourself hygienic when you are in your period. So for a lot of workplaces, for a lot of schools, even for older adolescents, those who are above 19, 20 to 24, they still have challenges with menstrual hygiene in the workplace and even at the universities.
For many women and girls around the world, managing their period is a major challenge. Lack of access to menstrual hygiene products, combined with shame, inequality, and stigma, can have a devastating impact on their lives. In order to eliminate the stigma and health difficulties associated with menstrual hygiene, several NGOs have taken it upon themselves to contribute to menstrual hygiene by teaching young people on the subject and providing certain period items to them.
Well, so as part of our interventions, we do a lot of community engagement where we mobilize young people to educate them on menstrual hygiene for those in school and for those out of school. As part of our intervention, UNFPA also supports us with free menstrual pads, which we distribute to some of the girls in our project communities, and we give them for free. And in one of our projects, we are also trying to build a community capacity to make reusable sanitary pads. These are very affordable, made from local products, and a lot of the women and girls are able to develop these or make them at home themselves to support their menstrual period. So these are some of the things that we do. And in all this, we also try to involve the boys and the men. So if we don't involve them, then the challenge will still continue. So we try to involve men and boys, as well as all the other relevant stakeholders in the community, the chiefs, the assembly, the health providers, and all the relevant key stakeholders in the community.
Maybe I use rag and tiro. When my mom don't have money to buy me sanitary, but I use those things. No, if I have money, I will go and buy sanitary pad or tiro. Sometimes I go, but sometimes I don't go to school because the pain I'll be feeling. That's why.
For those who use unhygienic sanitary products, because they cannot buy the conventional pad that we know, they use things like rags, paper bags, and those things to, catch their menstrual blood. So this can also cause a lot of infections to the girls. Yeah, so it has some health risk if you don't use the right product during your menstrual flow. It can cause some they call it pelvic inflammation. Let me also add that as a result of their inability to buy sanitary products, a lot of the girls engage in other activities to get money to buy pads. And like we know in our communities, some of them sleep with men, what they call transactional sex. So they sleep with men, like the abuboya drivers, the taxi drivers, and those things to get some small money to buy the pad. And this has contributed to the high teenage pregnancy rates that we see in our communities. And if you go to some of our project communities like Draboso and those places, the girls will not go to school. They would go to the Galamsey sites, work and get money to buy sanitary pads. So these are some of the effects of not having sanitary pads.
More than 800 million women menstruate every day in developing countries. Many people consider it a taboo topic and lack adequate hygiene products, which often leads to health problems. In Ghana, most women lack access to menstrual products, not only because of prices, but also because of the low level of education on menstrual hygiene that leads to a lot of health issues.
Menstrual hygiene is all about the items or the things you use during that period of time in that particular month. There are varieties of sanitary pads out there. Depend on your budget and then the kind of stand you have in the economy. You choose to buy the one you can afford. First of all is to get a hygienic one. Anything pertaining to menstrual pad or sanitary pad is hygienic. Let me take you back to when you buy a pack of the pad. You realize when you open it, it's still packed in another rubber. It's covered, it's sealed, it's packed. When you open the whole pack, it can be 6, 7, 8, 10, but well wrapped, well packaged, sealed. The reason being that even though you are going to use it to receive waste, which is the dirt or the blood coming out, if you don't use a clean pack, you're going to transport infections in them. So what happens is the pad or the towel is clean, is well protected. Like when you open it, and as I said, when you open the whole pack, you open the whole pack about 10 pieces and it's well packaged. You're supposed to wash your hands properly with water and soap before you even open it from that pack. So when you take a piece out, the hands need to be cleaned, or you can use sanitizer to sanitize your hand. Secondly, the panty you are using should be a clean panty. It should be a cotton panty so that it can absorb with the sweat, and then if there is any leakage, it can help to absorb it. And then it should be a cotton underline so that it can help with the sticky pad of the sanitary pad, so that it can get stuck well and make it support. So when you wear it, it can be secure and you don't stain yourself in public or where you find yourself. Number 3, when you are releasing it or arranging or packing or fixing it in your panty, as I said, you have to get a clean space. In terms of if it's your bed, the bedsheet should be clean. So if this is my panty and I'm using my pad, some people can just open it and just be using their hands touching all over the place and then wrapping it under. Some to make it so smooth that they have to get a table to put their pant on the table, then they can put their pad on it. So you have to get a clean table, a clean cloth to put your panty on it. When you are wearing or when you are putting on your pad, then you have to check which side goes to the back area, which side comes front, so that it can support and then it can help you save yourself from outside.
I'm 15 years of age. I attend Savior Presby JHS. The first day I menstruated, it was something I knew because I was taught about menstruation in school, churches, and other places. The first day I had my menstruation, I was excited because it was said when you have your first menstruation, you've moved to the outdoor stage. First I was scared. Then I remembered it's a monthly blood flow. That's the menstruation. So I was excited. What I did first is that I informed my mother that this what has happened to me. So what should I do? Yes. She told me everything I should do to keep myself clean after using the sanitary pad. Yes, how to use the pad after and before wearing it. I can educate to someone about menstruation because it's not something you should hide because it's part of a girl's life. Oh, yes, I do. I do take good care of myself during that period. No, I've never, and I won't be ashamed because of menstruation.
I'm able to maintain good menstrual hygiene by getting money to buy menstrual pad, by washing my hands after and before wearing the pad, and after using the pad, I wrap it with a rubber bag, dampen it in the bin, or sometimes burn it.
When it comes to hygiene and dealing with menstrual itself has a special risk. Most of the risks that we hear of or people complain would be candidiasis, also known as the whites, right? Other ones we have urinary tract infections because of the anatomy of the vagina and the urethra for women. Our urethra is short. When I say urethra, what I want to talk about is the tube whereby urine passes through. Women's own are quite short compared to men. So women are most likely to have infections on the urethra. So with vagina menstrual hygiene, when it's so poor, it travels quickly to the urethra. And the most women will be having urethra infection. Others will then tend to be having something called PID, that is pelvic inflammatory diseases. So the pelvic, as we know, our waist, and then inflammation is whereby the linings of the pelvic and the arteries are being inflamed as a result of the infection. So it gets swollen. And then most women complain of pain by holding the lower abdomen and crying. That's the pelvic inflammatory diseases. Most of these things I just talked about, the major risk are infertility. Most women will have issues getting pregnant in future. It affects their childbirth. Others will even be okay to get pregnant, all right. But then, during delivery, it becomes a challenge, or there comes with complications for the child. So basically, I would say these are some of the menstrual hygiene, their risk.
I don't feel comfortable because the people in the class, they'll be harassing me. They'll say you are menstruation, so don't come to us. Don't, I will not sit beside you, or the blood is smelling. You know. My mother, she said it's a natural thing created by God. That is in human beings like girls or women. That in the age, if you read that age, it will come out. So it's a natural thing. I use sanitary pads. Sometimes if I ask my mother and said she don't have money, I'll use clothes. I don't feel comfortable, so I didn't come to school. 3 days. Sometimes if they have do tests or class exercise, and if I don't come to school, then I'll miss it. I go through abdominal pains and stomach ache.
Pelvic inflammatory diseases. This kind of disease, that means there is an infection happening in the you'll be having so much pain. Some of them you need to take scan, you need to urinate for us, we need to do tests, then we treat the actual infection to them. But on the other side, whereby every month you have that cramps, you need to take drugs. I do not encourage taking drugs because being a woman in a reproductive age, assuming you started your menses 12 years and you are in your 25, 28 and you are still having your menses till you get to your 60s, are you going to take painkillers or analgesics till you get to your menopause? No. It's not advisable to do that. But rather, what we advise is if you are going through those cramps are supposed to come because when the muscles contract like that, because they are coming in and blood is flowing out, so they contract. That is when you feel the cramps. We advise to use hot water. So you can use the hot water bottle. I think most shops sell it in these supermarkets. You get a hot water bottle and then you put it at the lower abdomen. If you cannot afford it, what we tell other people to is you can use this type of bottled water, or just get an empty bottle, fill it with water, and then it should be hot water, not too hot. Okay, then you wrap a towel around it. Then you put it at the lower abdomen. If you cannot or you don't have any bottle with you, we also encourage for the sachets. The sachet one, you get one sachet, put it in water and boil it. The sachet will be hot. Bring it out and then you use a towel, wrap it around nicely and put it at the abdomen, the lower abdomen. When you put it there, the heat, whether from the hot water bottle, from the drinking bottle, or from the sachets, the pure water, it will vibrate through the towel and then it gets into the skin. And then it tries to calm the muscles so that the muscles that is contracting for you to have that pain will calm and the pain goes away. A typical example is what we see on the footballer's pitch. That when they have a muscle pull, that's when the muscles are contracting. So they use the hot water bottle or they use the ice to put it there to calm. But we prefer the hot water because the hot water, when it goes there, it calms the muscles and then it allows the muscles to give way for the blood to flow freely so that you'll be out of pain. Most of our cervical cancer cases we are getting are as a result of douching. That's the kind of soap we use, the kind of detergent we put in our water. I cannot mention any brand, any products, but then it's not advisable, first of all, to use the bathing soap for the skin to wash your vagina and no. We even have different kinds of soaps like the toilet soap, which is mainly for washing of hands, the toilet soap, and then we have the bathing soap, which is mainly for the skin. Then we have the washing soap, the cake. All this comes with a number of quantity of chemicals being used to make. So if you're using, let's assume somebody wants a toilet soap. A toilet soap mostly have high fragrance. Because after washing, using the washroom, you need to wash it with your hands. People use it to bath because of the high scented fragrance in it. It's good, alright, but then if I'm going to introduce it into the vagina area, you are going to disturb the flora around that area. I call those flora military officers. They are guarding the vagina area. So if you start using these strong scented soaps and then douching and all that, immediately you dismantle all the military people. Then you open your door ajar for every infection to come in. It's not safe. You don't have to do that. If you want to wash your vagina, in fact you're supposed to wash your vagina because of we secrete oil the pores we have that we sweat. We have pores in the vagina area, so we sweat in the vagina area as well. Then we have the pubic hair. The pubic hair also have the pores, and the sweat goes in. So it's like you having a beard which is not well washed. It smells. The same thing with the vagina area. So with the sweat and everything, we need to wash. So there is a required detergent or soap we use to wash our vagina area. We don't just wash, no. You can even use just the warm water to wash there, but still the greasy parts of it, which is the oily and the sweat and the dust and everything, no. It cannot wash out totally. So what you have to do is you get the right feminine hygiene wash. When you get to the pharmacy shops, you ask them who wants feminine hygiene wash. They will show you. It comes with different prices and the sizes. Due to the one you can afford, you purchase it. And then you use it to wash the vagina area. I said wash, not duty. You just wash the surface. You don't have a right to put your fingers in there. You don't have a right. Just wash around, because the oily and the sweat is within around, not to go in deep to disturb whatever is happening. That is not your work. The body cleans itself in a nice way. So you don't need to introduce such stuff.
Menstruation is a natural part of life, and it's time we put an end to the stigma. Educate more on menstrual hygiene and encourage viewers to support initiatives that promote good menstrual hygiene. Also, to advocate for increased access to safe and affordable menstrual hygiene material that will reduce serious health risks like reproductive and urinary tract infections, which can result in future infertility and birth complications.